I just pressed the button. Now we're live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show. Happy Fucked Up Friday. I am back. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Lawrence. I'm so happy you're back.
I'm
I feel like I'm
back.
doing my Kermit the Frog thing.
Ah!
Yay! Y'all, it hasn't just
I
been
just want to
4
point out
days. Yeah.
I'm wearing my latest Fuck Trump t-shirt. This is the special I'm gay as fuck and like My Little Pony, My Little Brony, Rainbow Bright
Oh
edition.
my
So
God.
there you go.
I love it. And you know what, Lawrence? Overslept a little this morning and couldn't find mine. And next week, let's make a pact to both wear our fucked up fuck Trump t-shirts together. And if any
Excellent.
week needed them, it was this one.
Holy fucking shit. Yes. Hey,
Lawrence,
we have some catching up to do, and then we should let people know that we have an amazing guest today. Zev Shalev has kindly joined us for Fucked Up Friday. We'll bring him on in just a moment after we have our little bonding time of I missed you,
I
and
miss you.
thanks
Um,
for keeping the, holding down the fort and keeping the trains running on time, et cetera, et cetera. You did an amazing job. I'm catching up on all the shows.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Thank you to Melissa Corrigan, who was, well, she was not your replacement because no one could replace you, but she was an
Aw, you sweet
excellent
talker.
stand-in co-host on Monday and Tuesday. Thank you to Karen Marie Shelton, who has been immensely helpful, kind of moderating in the chat and helping with the recap. And thanks to all of you who kept showing up when it was just me blathering on. Well, it wasn't just me. We had some amazing guests, and I'm really sad you didn't get to be here for them, Lawrence, because we've had an amazing week. Do you want to hear a
It's
bit about
been
it?
an intense week as well.
Oh,
We some
yes.
crazy, crazy bullshit. I want to point out you posted a note at the beginning of the week, Dana, about all of the dumb shit that had already happened, and then
Oh
you
yeah, that was Monday, like a
Monday,
thousand years ago on
right?
Monday.
You made a prediction of like, why do I feel like it's going to get even worse? And then it did.
Oh my God. It makes me feel sick because I remember the trepidation I felt Monday evening. We had just invaded a sovereign nation over the weekend, like as one does.
Oh, right.
Some people go to bars, some people go to the beach, some invade a sovereign nation, which I know we're
Mm-hmm.
going to talk a lot more about later in the show. And then there were all these other news stories, one of which is going to be my fucked up Friday pick later in this episode. I listed five like small news items that in any other time, any other administration, all would have been huge news. And I was like, all of this happened today.
Yeah.
One that I've been talking about a bunch this week, Lawrence, and it's not my fucked up Friday pick, but it is from your former state. So I want to drop it here. I've said it a couple times and I want to keep dropping it. Is that, you know how we have that thing here where any ding dong can get things on the ballot if they get enough
Right.
signatures? So
Right,
people
right.
will
Yeah, no,
walk up
state
to you.
referenda, generally speaking, like a good thing democratically, but
Yeah.
the way that Washington state does it, literally like any yahoo, like Tim Eyman, for example, yeah, can propose something and get enough signatures and it gets on the ballot. And what are they doing now?
400,000 people signed this. I can't remember this ding dong's name. It's not Bruce Hyman. Some other conservative shitbag has sprung up in his place. And Aaron in the morning reported about this. So you know what the topic is going to be around. It's around high school athletes and trying to keep trans kids from school athletics. And it allows genital inspection of the athletes to ensure that the correct penises and vaginas are on the correct play fields. Lawrence, what would I do if I found out that some adult at my kid's high school stuck a hand down one of my daughter's pants?
Oh my God. Well, yeah, or even just said like pull your pants down so that I can see that you have the parts I think you were supposed to have. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
400,000 people in
Yeah.
Washington. We're like, I'll
Welcome
sign
welcome
that.
to Trump's America, everybody. Every day a new horror.
The only thing I can say about that is thank goodness Seattle is so populous and so blue
Right.
that you know that we're gonna just I I hope we're just gonna wipe the floor with this battle. It's just gonna be like, go away. Don't come at us with anything like this again. But you know this is the Overton window. That the next one is
Right.
Gonna be like,
Absolutely. They
okay.
continue to pull the Overton window to the
Yeah,
extreme right. Yeah. We got to pull Zev on
we
because
do.
I just am sure that he's got things to say about this.
Please do,
Without
everyone.
further ado, here we go. Zev Shalev, everybody. Zev, thanks for being here. Oh shit! Now I can't hear you. Is that me or you?
I can't hear you either.
That's me. That's me.
Oh,
That's me.
nice. There you
Hello.
are.
Hi guys.
Oh,
How are you?
Excellent. We're so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. How could I miss it? It's great to be with you guys. And on a show that you can swear as much as you can swear on this show, I'll be glad to join in the fun.
Oh yeah, please. There are no real protocols.
right.
I just realized we've probably been demonetized by YouTube at this point, but on Substack. Oh no, how did we?
Not used to this. I'm sorry. I'm not used to this thing, so I'm just trying to learn it. So sorry. I'm back.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
won't touch anything. I'm that guest who comes
Are we
in.
gonna
and
have to
picks up on
smack your
everything.
hands, Zev?
Yes, you are.
Stop touching the buttons.
I'm just that annoying guy who comes in, picks up your most prized possessions, and then drops them.
Right, right. What is this? What does this one do? Does it break?
What does this one do? What does this one do? It's
I won't
all
touch
good.
anything. I promise. It's very nice in here. You've done a nice job.
Well, thanks. Hey, on the off chance that there's one person in here who doesn't know who you are, would you kindly introduce yourself to the crowd?
I am Zev Shalev. I do a Substack called narrative.org. I do a few shows as well on Substack. The main one we do on at 3 p.m. is called The Five Stack with Dean Blundell.
Yes.
I've got a long history of investigating Donald Trump, investigating Jeffrey Epstein, investigating the entire network, the criminal network that is now in control of the White House and seemingly in control of the country.
Mm.
And so that's been my thing for almost 9 years. I can't believe how long it's been. And I've been doing these live shows on X and social media everywhere for a long time. So before that, I was a broadcast executive producer, but this is more fun and more worthy, I think.
And Zev, I don't actually know that you've got the sexiest accent. What accent are you sporting? What are you teasing us with right now?
It's a South African blend accent. I was born in Israel, grew up in South Africa, and then lived in Canada, back in New York, and then now back in Canada. So I have something in the middle of the Atlantic accent.
All right.
If this whole politics thing, reporting thing doesn't work for you, voice acting. So.
Right.
I'll do that. I thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say. You guys have good voices too, I got to say.
Thank you.
Well,
Lawrence here.
Lawrence, he's a real
we
thing.
try.
I'm talking in my DJ voice now.
Right. There you go. Right. We keep practicing, Zev. One day we're going to get sponsorship for something. And so we're constantly, mugging for the camera and being like,
Right.
Try my new Yeti mug.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, you got to keep trying. You fake it till you make it, right? That's
right.
how you do it. So
you have to do the influencer thing with your hand.
Oh, like this.
Like yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah,
this
exactly.
Mug, I do love Lenny mug.
That's because you watch a lot of makeup videos, and Lawrence and I do too. We like the makeup videos too.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I could watch somebody like beat a mug on a video all day. Those massive transformation videos.
Right.
Where it starts like a dude that looks like me, and then at the end she's a gorgeous woman. With flawless skin.
I've got to find those. Maybe I'll do that in my next career, next to voice.
Once you find one of those, you're going to find 1,000 of them because I've made that
the
mistake.
algorithm will learn you, and then you get nothing but that.
Right, the algorithm, the turgid algorithm turned me into a radical teenager playing sports in the wrong gender. That story out of Washington State, I just when they start legalizing or introducing regulations to formalize the sexualization of teenagers in order to stop the sexualization of teenagers it takes you down a whole lot of paths of crazy.
Absolutely.
Yes, and it's my state, and it's Lawrence's former state, and we were the only state that slightly trended more blue at the last election, and it is primarily Seattle city where I live. You go outside the city, and then the Trump signs start coming out, but. This one is horrendous, and thank goodness for Erin in the morning for providing this kind of reporting.
She's great.
This is what we come to Substack for. I it's so great to have you here. Your show with Dean, the work you've done with Ellie Leonard, like it really does feel like meeting a celebrity of like,
Oh,
ooh.
I don't think there are any celebrities in this world, but in our little world. But thank you very much. I appreciate. Like, everyone's so important. Everyone's contributing. This is a really serious moment we're in.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it really is.
And everyone has to be using their voice. If you have a voice, you should be using it, because we are on the edge of catastrophe, and that's not even an overstatement. That's just
Right.
where we are. So,
Yeah.
anyone who's got a voice, who's got an ability to investigate, amplify, or expose, we should be doing it.
It is
1,000%.
crazy to think that in our lifetimes, because I think you're maybe Gen X or elder millennial, right? You're probably close to Dana and I.
I'm an Xer. I'm
all
like
right. Nice.
One of us.
Yeah,
One
one of
of
us.
us.
We're
One
the
of
best.
us.
They're the best generation. Without us, we're going to save the world.
Yeah.
This little mighty generation is going to save the world.
And
Yeah.
who would have thought that, like, in our lifetimes, we've seen it go from, like, that there was a point in time where if you called someone a Nazi, you were legitimately overreacting, probably, right? Like, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
now if you call someone a Nazi, they probably actually are a fucking Nazi.
Yeah,
Right.
and they
They're
probably
like,
were.
thank you. Yeah. They're like, thank you.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And
Right.
when we did it, 10, 20, 30 years ago, they probably
Right.
were actually a Nazi at that time. It was just socially unacceptable to cast that epithet at somebody because it seemed like the world had moved away from that. And lo, we have learned that is not true.
In some ways, that's more refreshing. You get to see, at least people aren't hiding who they are, and it's better in some ways. Do I love the fact that the Nazis are so prominent in society? No, but they've probably they've probably been there a while.
Right, just hiding amongst us and slowly doing their vast right-wing conspiracy that, it turns out Hillary got mocked when she said vast right-wing conspiracy 25 years ago, but it turns out she was not wrong. There really has been a vast right-wing conspiracy to pull our culture, into, like you said, on the precipitous brink of losing everything.
She was not only not wrong, she was totally right. She when you look back and see what Epstein and Clinton's friendship and all that was about, and I haven't proved this yet, so I can't say for sure, but I would speculate that the entire Monica Lewinsky thing was part of the Epstein network. Maybe not Epstein himself, but
oh my God.
Oh my God! Do you think?
That blew my mind, man.
Well, I can back it up with a lot of information about why I think that's the case, but that's really more than plausible. This was, Epstein in particular he was on a mission to try and make sure that Bill Clinton would not give in to the Palestinians, and so that's part of the friendship that he developed with Clinton, and it's not a bridge too far from there to say that, a compromised woman in the White House, whom Epstein had access to the White House a lot, would have, would have caused at least the attention shift of the Clinton administration.
That is such a great point. And I just flashed back to that moment in time, right? Like the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin and the Oslo Accords and the fact that, Arafat, could have accepted the agreement and didn't because he knew that he would have been offed by his own people, and kind of the hope of the two-state solution in that moment, and then the sudden kind of absolute collapse of that hope and into the, Netanyahu haunted world that we live in now.
Yeah, and there's always that Epstein had in his home a painting of Bill Clinton in a blue dress. And then he also had a painting of George Bush playing with a set of dominoes that looked like the World Trade Center, and a plane crashing into the set of dominoes. Both of those, I don't think, are accidental pieces of art. I think those are reflective of things he had, or things the network had done, and he was collecting as art.
Wow. Okay, so
I'm
blowing my mind twice.
I don't want to start in
and we're only 18 minutes in.
Dominoes of the World Trade Center? What?
Well, that is definitely stepping into conspiracy theory that may or may not be true. In most cases, I think some conspiracy theories may be true, but in the let me say this. I think that there is a lot of questions that we don't know about who actually did the World Trade Center, but clearly there was an inside element to that. Clearly the Saudis were involved. Clearly I think the Israelis were involved. And I also think the mob in America was involved, which, brings you into the president of the United States and all sorts of other people. So that's a whole other, that's a diversion though.
Right. We need to have you back to talk about just that because.
Yes.
Go ahead, Dana. Sorry.
No, I'm just sitting here. I'm still stuck on the Bill Clinton in a blue dress. Like, have you seen these photos of the paintings, or you have heard?
Yeah, they're actually in the FBI files. They were just taken out the other day because for some reason I don't know what the DOJ did. Look, these are paintings. They're professional paintings that he had commissioned of these things. The reality of it is Clinton and Epstein had a very close relationship. He was a big funder of Clinton's world. We certainly know that his MO was blackmail. That was what he was doing. Behind the scenes, he was also involved in very serious political maneuvering for Israel and other countries. Where there was being in touch with people like Putin, being in touch with people like Ehud Barak or Bill Clinton, or this was his game. This is what he did.
Right.
So it's not hard to imagine if that was why they sent him on a mission. And I have that on good authority that one of the things he was doing in the United States as an asset for other intelligence agencies was to stop Bill Clinton from making a deal with the Palestinians.
Wow.
That's incredible. We really do need to have a whole show about this.
Yeah.
Because this is like fucked up Friday from
it's fucked up the last 50 decades.
Right. Fucked up 50.
You talk about us being Xers and we're the only generation who's lived through all of this, and we really get it. We really get how much chaos has been flung upon us. No wonder we're all so traumatized. Because it's been 50 years of chaos, and it's really a 50-year crime spree that these guys have been on.
Hey, Zev, I want to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dana.
I was going to say one final thought on this topic, or unless Lawrence has one more. Bill Clinton came out and said, like, open all the files, release them all. And at least his PR people are trying to put this message out of like, share it, Don. What are you waiting for? Which is really smart. Sounds to me like you think he has a lot to lose if that happens. What are your thoughts?
I think he's a victim. I don't see him as. I mean, I think he's a victim and a participant in a maybe an unwitting participant. I mean, you got to imagine that what Bill Epstein did is he brought people into these networks. To his network of people, and introduced them to these other powerful influencers and people. And in that, they all were part of this group, even though some of them were not doing anything untowards. I don't think there's any evidence, I've not seen any, that Clinton did something terrible to an underage girl. I just don't see it. I have not seen it. Was he surrounded by women at different times? Yes. Is that illegal? No. Is there anything that he did that I think is compromising to Clinton? I don't see it. But maybe there is in these files we haven't seen yet. But just the proximity to Epstein is what causes a lot of this attention. On the other hand, Donald Trump.
No, I froze.
No, you're back.
You're okay now, I think. Are you still there, Lawrence?
Maybe it's frozen.
All right, I'm back. You know what I did? Speaking of people pressing buttons, I accidentally switched my VPN to Albania for the moment.
Hello, Albania. Good morning.
I literally don't know how I did that, but I'm back in the United States. Not in Indiana, according to my VPN, but no longer in Albania either.
Wow, we're huge in Albania now, just by the way.
Totally, right, in that one moment.
Hey, I was on front page news in the Albanian news last year.
Really?
And I was like, it's so strange that I'm like a show out of the US, but it's on the front page of the Albanian newspapers, but that's an aside too.
Right. Okay. You're really big in Albania. Go to any bar in Albania and they'll buy you a drink.
Oh, thank God, because I'm there all the time.
Part of your secret Albanian network that you're
exactly.
So let me ask you questions. I've written articles on here and we've talked about it on the show a lot. That my contention is we are in the Third World War right now. That it is an information war and a reality war, and that we are losing it. And I would love to kind of toss that hypothesis to you and see what you make of it.
I think we're in a pre-World War. I think this is pre-World War III. And I think we've been in it for a good 10 years or longer.
Yeah.
And it's, what happens in a pre-war situation is the countries that are interested in that fight are doing exactly what they're doing to the United States right now. They're weakening us in every way. They're dividing us in every way. Yeah. They're attacking our economy. They're attacking our freedoms. They're attacking our confidence in ourselves, our belief in our leadership, our belief in government. This is a systematic psychological attack on American people in order to weaken us ahead of a significant world war.
Yeah.
In which, by the way, we're going to be on the wrong side of the fight if we're continuing the same way as we are right now. I mean, we are not fighting for freedom in this war. We're fighting for dictatorships and authoritarianism, all the things that we supposedly don't stand for. Right. We're going to be fighting for.
Yep.
And oil.
Right. Well,
oil and resources.
Colonialism, back to colonialism, territory seizure, and resource seizure. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Greenland is going to be the battle for this thing. I mean, it's kind of shocking that people are going to be fighting a world war over Greenland, but that now looks to be what's happening. The battle lines are being drawn, and NATO is saying, no ways are you taking our sovereign territory, and Canada is saying the same thing.
Right.
So we are likely, could be within months, potentially in a war of a place like Greenland with 25,000 residents or whatever it is they have there. It's like,
right.
And who would have thought?
And do you think it is more about potential resources in Greenland, or whoever controls Greenland controls the North Atlantic, or is there, or both, or something else?
It's both and more. I think firstly it's the Arctic, right? As you point out, I mean the Arctic is so valuable because of its trade routes, and also Greenland has the deepest shelf into the Arctic, which gives it the most rights over the Arctic. The countries like Canada have a much more shallow shelf. They have a cliff, really. Therefore, they don't have as deeper rights into the core of the North Sea, or whatever it's called up there, the Arctic Sea. And so once that begins to melt, it reduces travel routes or trade routes by 30% or something like that. That's a remarkable saving for the Chinese and the Russians, or whoever else wants to ship things to the United States or Europe. But it also opens up all these mineral rights, and Greenland is particularly wealthy in that because of its deep shelf. So I think that's the real underpinning. The other way to look at it is if you've got an autocracy alliance between Russia, China, and United States, well, they would have a significant say over the entire Arctic if they could control Greenland. In addition to, Russia has a huge exposure there. China considers itself a Arctic state, although it's not really an Arctic state. And Canada has the other piece, which is why Canada is also, in the middle of this big fight. Or a potential battleground between autocracy and democracy.
Right. Canada, you mean the 51st state?
That very 51st state. Because, Alaska, that tiny little bit is all that the United States has as in terms of Arctic rights. So, and they want to give that back to Russia because Russia thinks it belongs to them. So that 51st state up here, that Donald Trump keeps talking about it's hard to imagine that, when you think about the lining up here, it's America's going to go to war with Canada, who's the nicest people in the world, who really are not very warmongery type people.
Right.
And it appears to me that, when Carney goes next week, or I think it's next week, to China for the first trip in 10 years by a Canadian leader to China, he's going to be saying, hey, if America attacks Canada, will you be on our side? So to imagine, Canada and China against the United States. I just, it's first, I think America is going to lose this war.
Oh, no,
because I don't think they have
100% going to lose this war.
No one wants to fight it. Right. There's no moral grounding for it. So it's not a good look. And I think a lot of Americans are going to die. And I think it's a lot of people are going to die. And that's just, we don't know what war is like because we don't face it that much. But, none of us want to go to war.
Yeah. No,
none of us want to go to war. I wish no one in the U.S. I feel like there are a lot of folks on the wrong side of history who would be like, fuck yeah. Or if Trump tells them to, they're going to want to go. living in Seattle, Canada feels, I mean, it's right there. 2 hours and drive, and I'm in Vancouver, or in BC.
Right, which is an amazing city.
Amazing. Dr. Amber Hall is here in the chat. She's there. I know you're good friends with Dean there. Like it feels like going to war with your classmate or something. Like
Right.
we used to drive to Canada or take the train for the weekend in our younger, more carefree days, and we'd make all kinds of jokes like, "Oh no, did you drink the water? Are you going to be okay?" And because we were joking, because it was like, yeah, it just feels like home, only a bit cleaner and better, and our money goes further.
Right.
It's
That was
true.
Slightly
it.
more European and yeah, like full of hot dudes and
Yeah, and everyone is so kind because they're not worrying about their health insurance. Like I
It's
can't.
certainly a great place. I live in Canada. I live in Toronto. So I have, I like it. I don't love it as much as I like the United States, and I get a lot of flack for that because I just,
Yeah.
I love America. It's why I do what I do. But I also know that it's ridiculous that these two countries, because the people of these two countries are friends and family, as you point out, for generations, and
yeah.
no one's going
Yeah,
to go to a war. No one's going to really kill each other. But
right.
this is why he's trying to poison the well so much. This is why, unsuccessfully, I think so far. But
Yeah.
Donald Trump is pouring so much effort into making it seem like Canadians are the worst people in the world. When you
Yeah,
just they might be a bit boring. They might be a bit conservative, but they're
right.
certainly not war people. It's not like
Right.
we think
Yeah.
about war.
My God, one of my daughter's top schools, I have a senior in high school, is in Vancouver. Like, and I'm kind of pushing for it because I'm like, it's close to home and
Yeah,
a foreign country. And oh, even with paying out of country tuition, it's still cheaper than going to a US college.
really.
Yes, by
There
a
are
Well,
lot.
so many students, there's so many foreign students. It's really hard to get into some of these better universities as well. Like it's just they really have flooded the zone here.
Yeah.
and hang on, I just point of personal privilege. We need to
Yeah.
acknowledge that Dana's eldest had her 18th birthday this weekend.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yesterday. Yeah.
How does that
I
feel, Dana?
I have raised a human to adulthood. It feels really good. And I mentioned
Congratulations, you did it.
I did it. I mentioned that we right before we came on air, Zev and I were talking about how we like to write late at night, so we're not morning people. And the last couple nights I've been working on an essay that I think I'm going to publish early next week about her taking flight and all of the work that's involved, for her, but also for me, and how I have not acknowledged the grief at all yet. Of like, I have this human has lived in my home for 18 years and in my heart. She will
Yeah.
never leave here, but everything is about to change. And we've been so in the weeds of, did you get accepted? Have they given you scholarships? Did you finish your portfolio? Because she's an artist. Sorry about my dog. Shh, we're having a conversation. That I haven't acknowledged the grief of it yet. So I'm immensely proud right now. And right now I just feel really giddy because I've raised a human I really like. Like
Nice.
we're I mean, Lawrence knows my kids. My kids are awesome. My youngest is 15. So
Oh, so you've got
yeah.
one left. It's okay. There's no grief then. You've got 3 years before they have to think about that again.
Yeah, too early. She's
Oh
a
yeah.
sophomore. Yeah.
Okay.
She's almost 16. So thank you for pausing to acknowledge that, Lawrence.
That-
But
That's
Zev,
great.
the task of trying to launch, well, I don't know if you have kids, but the task of
No,
trying to launch children into the world right now.
it's
Um,
really difficult.
yeah,
It's
and
really
Yeah.
my kids are dual EU US citizens through their dad. And so for a while we were really pushing, like, let's use this as the excuse to leave. But it's hard to relocate countries with one's ex, no matter how good a relationship one has. And my kid is like getting into these great design schools here. I don't know that we're leaving, but as we're having this conversation, and I'm like, it still feels surreal, even though every week we have the show to mark the news of every week, so we don't end up being boiled frogs. We want to note the downward progression and how much worse, how things are escalating. This week feels like we crossed a line
Yeah.
more than any other week since we started doing this in April. And my brain still can't wrap itself around, oh, in the next, however many years under Trump, if you send your kid to the other side of the country, like, or even another country, there's a good chance there's going to be a war.
Right.
And it's so hard to acknowledge because no one else, in our whole community of people, of parents, of seniors, no one's talking about like, well, what if there's a war?
Yeah, it's frightening.
Right. When
It
sending your
is.
kid to college, be sure to think about geopolitical differences and which countries you might be at war with in the next year.
Right.
We have to be really aware that this thing is coming. We have to keep our eyes wide open. It's not even just a likelihood. It's a high likelihood that something's going to happen in order to get rid of Donald Trump, and that really sets the stakes for this next election. And how we, firstly, we have to absolutely have an election, and any attempts to stop us from having an election, and every attempt to fiddle with that election, and there are many, many attempts to change the results of that preemptively and during the day. We have to be so on guard for that. And then we also need the most unequivocal, mass turnout to elect Democrats, because if we, that's our last chance. We are going to be plunged, if not sooner, we'll be plunged into war. It's like, you don't have to, you need the mother of a 6-year-old shot in the face by an ICE agent to prove to you that Donald Trump is completely out to lunch and completely dangerous for everybody in America. I mean, what more do you need to see with your own eyes, which we all saw with our own eyes, to know that this guy is deadly dangerous to every single American?
Right.
Yeah. I saw it with you, Zev, and Nick. That was where I watched the video.
Oh,
so
awesome. Yeah. I saw you in the chat there. I mean, that to me, and the fact that then he sends out the fake video of the event in order to run a different narrative. And now it's emerged that the shooter had previously been the victim of a dragging incident, which makes it seem like this is more of a revenge killing than anything else.
Right. Like he lost his shit because he was having PTSD in the moment.
Or they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to get those guys, those leftist lunatics. We're going to send him in to kill one of them so they can, revenge his shooting, or revenge his dragging. That's what I'm seeing. But that's because, I spent way too much time analyzing this administration now for 10 years. And you can see what they're doing. It's evidence. Yep. And if you've seen it enough times and you connect the dots enough times, you can see it over and over again. They're not organized enough to have reacted as quickly as they did on the day of that shooting for this to have been accidental. This is a planned, I think, execution of somebody. They knew who she was. They have incredible surveillance capability now. They have facial recognition. They have all sorts of things.
You think they killed her? They found her in particular, Renee Good. That they were just.
I think that if you have to parse what they said quite carefully, because you don't want to believe anything they say. But when Christy Noem said that she had been following them the whole day, if this is Renee Good was following them the whole day, which she probably was, because it does sound like she was in that world of trying to observe, as she's allowed to do legally, and express her First Amendment rights of observe what the criminal events were happening in her community, and she's allowed to do those things and express her opinion, of course. But she'd obviously been around these goons all day, which, if they know that she was around them all day, then they'd been tracking who she is, because they could recognize the car and whatever. And we know that they now have facial recognition capability on their phones, and
through the flock cameras, probably.
Right.
It wouldn't be hard to know, oh, that woman who's this woman? She's an activist, whatever. She does this illegal observer thing. You know what? You want to go get your revenge on one of these lefty loons? Go ahead. Whatever his name is, the Johnson, or whatever. I can't remember his name.
Right, Jonathan Ross. I think
Jonathan Ross. Yeah. Go ahead, Jonathan. You go exact your pound of flesh there. And so, he shows up, and then he was not in any danger. He was not in any risk. He was maybe a foot and a half away from the car as it was turning, but enough for him to still, shoot her through the passenger window of the car. And then the I don't know if you've seen the video of him approaching the car after the event. He See, this did not. It seems like it was an omission. He was not
Right.
on. He was not
Yeah.
distraught or
And the way he
surprised.
walked away from the car,
Yeah,
right, after
yeah,
he saw that she was dying. And I just learned this morning from Politico that her wife was in the
yeah. I'd
car
heard that.
with her in the passenger
Yeah,
seat.
horrific.
Can you imagine?
No, I couldn't imagine. The fact that a U.S. agent is gunning down somebody in broad daylight in a city like Minneapolis, someone exercising their free rights, and he is cold-bloodedly killing a woman with her wife in the car, and a 6-year-old that had just been dropped off at school, and and that the president of the United States is not even remorseful or memorializing this victim in any way, that he's blaming her for being a domestic terrorist for driving a car.
She's so, like, I know there are doctored versions of this video, and I already, as soon as I watched your video, I made the mistake of opening Facebook, and I have a very curated audience, but one of my friends had someone popping off about, like, she was trying to run him over. I saw the video, you should just watch it. And I was like, I don't know what version of the video you saw, sir, but she's barely moving. And
Look, this was a disinformation war. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, it absolutely is. And it gets to the point where you're like, well, which version did you see? And then that negates the true version,
Yeah.
which I know is the one that you shared. And even if she were coming at him aggressively, which she is not, like, he comes at her car. Like, any sort of training would say, like, oh, if you're worried about this as a potential weapon, this vehicle, you're going to step away from the weapon. He charged at it and said, get the fuck out of your car.
Yeah. If you look at the video carefully, there's an ICE vehicle that goes around the car that blocks her way first.
Yeah.
So she has to she's cornered by these guys who are masked thugs, who she knows are masked thugs, by the way, and she knows are dangerous people.
Yeah.
And they're coming at her car, trying to open the door in this aggressive way. And then she's in reverse because she's trying to get away from them, realizes she can't reverse. And we know she was because she had her tail lights on in reverse. And then she tries a 3-point turn, basically, to try to get away.
Yeah.
And only when she finds the only path available to her, which is just past this guy who's in front of her pointing a gun at her, is she able to get past or past the car. And then, of course, he shoots her. Now, the fake videos, they come from either from the White House or they come from the Kremlin. I mean, it seems to me like they're so sophisticated and so quick that they do seem to me like they're Kremlin-type propaganda that is being fed, the fake ones. And the president is the first person to issue that.
Yeah.
And why that's important is anytime there's an event like this, the first person out who establishes a pattern or a narrative is more likely to succeed in that narrative holding.
Yeah.
Which is why Kristi Noem came out right away.
Right away.
And she was like, oh yeah, this is domestic terrorism. What she didn't count on is the fact that everybody else on Substack in particular was saying, no, that's not what happened. You're crazy. And was able to cut that back right away as well. And this is why the independent citizen journalists are so important. And they have been since Twitter and whatever. We've been at this for a long time because I know that if we can get at a story quickly and disarm it, they're screwed. Yeah. And in this case, I think they've been disarmed. But the fact that this barrage came from the presidency and the White House and the DHS so quickly makes you realize that this was a deliberate narrative building exercise. And I think it was able to be cut down. So it's hard to tell, in the right-wing communities whether it will hold or not. But, it's absolutely true that they built a narrative way too quickly for me to believe that this is organic or that this shooter wasn't intended to kill someone that day and maybe even intending to kill Renee Good that day.
Wow. Zev, I feel like we could talk to you forever, but we do have a mission here today on Fucked Up Friday, which is to compete in the chat for the most fucked up news story of the week. And let's just state up front, like, the killing of Renee Good and the invasion of Venezuela. I mean, obviously those things would win.
Yeah.
Above and beyond. I'm still reeling. And I do want to say, we do need to hop into Fucked Up Friday. Are they really going door to door in Minneapolis and asking to see people's papers? Because that's the latest that I've heard.
They've been
And
doing it all the time. I mean, this is why this has been the problem. Is the community has been outraged at the fact that their neighbors are being evicted, taken out of their homes in the middle of the night because they're apparently illegal, or the government views them as un-American, or whatever it is that these guys are doing. In a very liberal city where this community is well loved and it's an integrated neighborhood. And of course, what Renee Good was doing is what every American should be doing. They should be protecting their neighbors and their communities, and everything about that is the way what is very American. The protesting and the neighborly protection and all of that, as long as you're not actually causing violence, is absolutely the right thing to do. And the fact that the president, the vice president, and everyone else is trying to frame her just is beyond me.
Yeah.
She's the victim of a crime, not the...
I part of what I've been thinking, and I want to write about this, is in the world where I apparently have to choose whether I am Charlie Kirk or I am Renee Good.
Yeah.
I am Renee Good. I will pick her every time. And if I have to die for this country, I will die for this country. I don't want it to be a senseless death like this one, but Jesus fucking Christ. If we are going to be at war, which it seems like we are, and it's going to be a civil war, a fight for the soul of this country, I don't think we have yet grokked as a nation what it is going to take to wrestle control back from the forces of evil that are trying to basically throw us into totalitarianism.
It's a very beautiful sentiment when you're saying about, I am Renee Good, because we all are, and we really need to hold up this woman in her memory in is even more heroic way than the right try to hold up Charlie Kirk. This is a beautiful message for everybody, because she's an absolute hero, and as tragic as all of it is, she needs to be remembered for her heroic acts, and certainly her son and her other kids need to know that she was an absolute hero in the American eye, and a real patriot who was doing just the right thing, and who died doing the right thing. And that is what we love in America, not the death part, of course, but we love people who are willing to do that, and are willing to risk everything in order to do the right thing for their family, for their community, for their neighbors, for their country. This is what America's built on. This fighting for these principles. And so I absolutely think people need to be celebrating her spirit and raising her as much as possible and as much as we can as an absolute hero.
Yeah.
Lawrence, write that story. When you texted this morning and said that you were writing that, it gave me goosebumps.
It crystallized for me, right? Like Charlie Kirk, suddenly there's a fucking song about him. There's a wine bottle.
Totally in
I
my
am Charlie
head
Kirk.
now.
And if we should be honoring anybody as a real American patriot, it should be Renee Good, because like you just said, Zev, she was showing up for her community. She was living the true spirit of America. Charlie Kirk wasn't. He was ripping America apart with his bare hands. And Renee Good was trying to build us back into the better ideals, the better angels version of what we all aspire to be. And I choose her.
And she also was just dropping off her kid. She wasn't out there in the streets, We
don't know, actually. I'm really interested to find out what she was doing before. Everyone sort of was trying to shut down this idea that maybe she wasn't wasn't doing the legal observing that she was. Or that people saying she was. I want to know the truth. I want to know exactly what she was doing that day, because I don't think she was breaking the law in any way. If she was observing them, good for her. That's why we need to celebrate her, because she was standing up for her neighbors and making sure that everybody knew that these goons were running around, and they really are clearly goons because they killed her, trying to warn them that these guys were evicting people. I think we don't have to run away from the truth on this story, because the truth is going to be what it is. And it's whether she was dropping off kids or whether she was interfering, whether she was monitoring in a legal sense what was going on, which she's allowed to do, or expressing her First Amendment rights of saying, hey, don't do that. All okay. That's part of being an American.
100% okay. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely legal.
Yeah.
And as a woman, if you were in a car and a dude cuts you off and aggressively comes at you,
a dude in a mask trying to open your door,
and a gun, and says, "Get the fuck out of the car." No one is going to get out of that car.
No, with your wife there and just dropped off. No ways are you going to do anything like that. You're going to be terrified.
Yeah.
People who are like, she should have obeyed him. I'm like, what fucking world do you live in?
Yeah.
Of
He's got no
course.
authority over her. They're not allowed to do anything to American citizens. This is crazy that they feel so enabled and able to take physical violent acts, to walk up into someone's car and try breach it without a warrant. I mean, what is going on? This is not America. This is not how we operate. This is not right in every which way. There's no other way to look at it.
But if we don't shut it down, this is America. Like this is the first one. And if this is just sort of like, okay, next news cycle, like, we are all going to be Renee Good.
Yeah. My friendly amendment, not really the first one, that we can look back on a chain of black and brown people who have been living this reality for a very long time in this country. And, but
Thank you, Lawrence.
this is the America that is coming for all of us.
Yeah, as terrifying as that is, it could be even worse. And the war thing we were talking about, but also maybe we need to move on to that stuff, but the economic side of things is going to be even worse in some ways.
Oh, absolutely. Like there's a depression coming, right? There's an economic catastrophe coming. And Zev, I think the three of us are all Jewish. Forgive me if I'm assuming incorrectly.
Nope, you're right.
We as a people have a history that, kind of illustrates what happens when you let evil be in control, and what could happen to an entire people. So.
Oh yeah, this is intensely personal for me, and I'm sure it is for all you guys. And one of the reasons I'm so big on the Epstein story and so focused on it is because when I found out that he was working for Israel, at least partially, but probably mostly, to me that was just such an anathema to what I was born in Israel. I certainly love Israel as my country, as a country where I always held up as a really important place in the Middle East, as a place for democracy and freedom. And what they've done to Israel, the same group of criminal thugs who have basically taken over Israel and are now doing the same thing here in the United States, is appalling. And if Epstein was doing that on their behalf, whether he was witting or unwitting about that, although I'm pretty sure he was witting, I have no time for it. I have no time for it, and I'm going to expose it. I'm going to spend as much time as possible exposing that, and if it's just one of those things you have to fight for. It's just one of those things. The truth around the story is so important. Yeah,
I agree. We only have a couple minutes left, and we really should give the people what they want and do Fucked Up Friday.
Fucked Up Friday.
So Zev, I'm sure Dana explained it to you. Each of us brought a story in today. Our job is to sell it to the chat as the most fucked up thing that happened this week. Of course, in the bigger picture of Venezuela and Renee Good.
So those things aren't allowed. Renee Good and Venezuela are not allowed?
Well,
if you have a slant on it.
Maybe. Yeah, if you've got an angle on it that we haven't talked about, by all means.
I'm going to wing it a little bit here, so maybe you give me to the end, because I want to hear what you guys do. Is that okay?
Yeah, so I was just going to say, we used to let our guests go first, and then we kind of realized there might be a recency bias, so now we let you pick. So it sounds like you want to go last.
Yeah, because I haven't prepared, because I'm bad that way, but I have lots of ideas, and I just want to hear where you guys go. And then, but that does give me a bit of an advantage, maybe. But anyhow.
All right, Dana, do you want to go, or shall I?
I will go first, and I can't get into the chat, so I'm not going to put the link in. This is my story. Quick pitch. RFK Jr. guts U.S. childhood vaccine schedule despite its decades-long safety record. Thank you to clinicaladvisor.com for a blunt headline. That's the one I wanted to link to, because so many of them are like, it's shifting. I'm like, and sort of like, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. No, it's bad. And what I want to extra call out and underline is there have historically been 19 vaccines. They're cutting it back to 11. And meningitis is going away. Hepatitis B is going away. But HPV.
The vaccines are going away. The diseases are coming back.
Exactly. They're on a comeback.
They are coming off the standard childhood vaccination schedule. And HPV is going away. Conservatives have had it in. This is human papillomavirus. It's genital warts.
Causes cancer.
It's an STD. Right. In men, it is maybe a tiny wart. You might notice a blip. In women, it is often cervical fucking cancer. So I'm just seeing this through my feminist killjoy lens, as I always do, of this is another attack on women. I would say more, but go. We got to move on to the next one.
All right. That is a really good one. So here's mine. This week, the United States is withdrawing from 66 international organizations. Trump has signed a memorandum pulling us out of 66 international bodies, 31 UN entities, and 35 other international organizations.
Oh boy.
It pulls us out of climate frameworks and international governing bodies around science like the IPCC, security cooperation forums, population and health agencies, and more. This is not just symbolism, it actually shrinks America's power around the world. It reduces our ability to influence, and it puts us at a disadvantage. It also leaves a vacuum, a power vacuum, into which China and Russia will step and provide global leadership that is contrary to what America should and would want. And it continues this really horrible pattern of Trump pulling out of the World Health Organization, out of the Human Rights Council, out of the Paris Agreement. It's basically the United States stepping back into isolationism and this kind of ridiculous belief that we should not have global influence. It's making us weaker and more at danger in the world writ large. That's mine.
That's a good one. Okay, I'm going to do one that you don't know about yet, because I just found out about it yesterday. I'm not even sure I can phrase it correctly. But what's going on right now with the price of silver is really crazy. And it's particularly related to JP Morgan, which has been buying a ton of silver. Which sounds like, why do people care about silver? Well, silver is very important for the trade of all sorts of currencies around the world. And one of the things that in order to facilitate this change in silver prices, because the Chinese have increased the price of silver by regulating the amount of silver available to the world, is the Fed has now opened up the repo rate to over $500 million. It used to be there was a limit every night for the overnight lending rate for banks. In other words, if banks needed money, they could go to the Fed and they say, up to $500 million on a total day for all the banks, maybe about $250 billion for per bank. But they've been giving all these banks so much money that it seems to me like we're in a replay of 2008. The funnel is open, and there are just overnight spending by these banks has gone through the roof, partly related to the collapse in the price of silver. And JP Morgan, the same bank that was involved in the 2008 crash, is back at it, this time in what could be the crash of 2026. So
too big to fail? Are they too big to fail?
Apparently they're too big to fail, so we have to keep pumping them up. And I'm only really interested in this because of the Greatest High series, but everyone needs to be paying attention to the story because we're about to experience another crash. There are trillions of dollars that have been siphoned out of the American economy since the 1980s. Literally, I think it's about $80 trillion when they've done the math on this. It is going to continue. They're taking your taxpayer money. They're taking your kids' education, your American dream, your homes, you name it. They're doing it right now. And I think this is the early bird warning of this one. This is the canary in the coal mine that this is happening again right now.
Zev, is this related to, didn't JP Morgan recently in like over one weekend insist that all of their Forex metal traders move from New York City to Singapore?
It may be related to it. They had to sell a large amount of silver, 5,900 tons of silver on a short sale. It wasn't theirs, somebody else's money. But this reminds me exactly of what Jeffrey Epstein did with JP Morgan way back, and Bear Stearns way back in 2008. It's exactly the same mechanism where they trigger the collapse by doing this giant sale of at that point it was mortgage-backed security funds. Now it's the silver that's being crashed. But it's it makes a lot of sense if they move to Singapore. That is probably them trying to avoid regulation here in the United States.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We've only got like 3 minutes left. Zev, that is a really fucking good one.
I'm like head in hands.
Right.
I'm sorry. This is the thing. I come into shows sometimes and I'm just like the bearer of bad news. Sometimes I'm going to, but it is just the news. I apologize. I don't know what to say.
We're going to, Zev Cassandra Shalev.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry about it. I like the name Cassandra though. I can work with it.
Right. I think maybe I just decided that's my new drag persona.
Yeah. Do you do drag?
I don't, but I keep joking that I'm going to start.
I mean, why not? Why not try it out one day?
Yeah.
next Halloween maybe, but
Yeah.
or sooner.
There you go. Yes, I will be a
Democracy
sexy nurse
demands
as
it.
Cassandra for next Halloween.
Thanks for not asking me if I do drag. I appreciate that.
Well, but now you've asked yourself, Zev, and the people want an answer.
No, I would make what they would call a handsome woman. I think if I tried to be a woman, but dressed as a woman, but I could also be a drag performer in a different way. But no, I have not done it. Maybe once I've tried, to be honest. Actually, I've tried once. Was it very good?
Really?
Yeah, I dressed up as Dana not too long ago. That was fun. That was a form of drag. I also make a very handsome bearded woman.
He was beautiful. He had a big red wig and a
did.
little like tank toppy thing.
Oh, I love that.
And
I gotta say,
I grew a beard. It was part of our summer fundraising drive. If we hit a certain goal,
that's amazing. That's really fun.
We did the show as each other.
I love that.
It was really hard.
I have a lot of time for women and their heels, because I tried to walk in heels for like 3 seconds and collapsed. So anyone who's able to walk in a heel for longer than 10 seconds has my respect. So
for real. Zev, the chat is everyone is agreeing in the chat that you would be a very handsome woman.
Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate
folks,
that.
If you don't know the way this works, if you think Dana has the most fucked up story for this week, put Dana in the chat right now. If you think I've got the most fucked up story, put Lawrence in the chat. And if you think Zev has the most fucked up story, put Zev in the chat. Whoever gets the most votes wins. And by win, we mean they lose, because we all lose on Fucked Up Friday.
Oh.
All right. Let me see here. I do see everyone saying you have a very beautiful smile, Zev.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh my God! All right, it's rolling in. Zev, you're clearly running away with this.
Dana, I got one.
Oh, I guess that's good. Yeah.
I see a few votes here and there for you and me, Lawrence, but Zev, you've got this one.
Yeah, this is a blowout.
Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for helping me win that, I think. I don't know.
Right. It is the game
you've predicted our economic doom, so congratulations.
Right.
Yay.
We did have a question earlier of like, what should I do with my 401k? And I wrote back like, I wish I knew. If you have any advice, Zev,
I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't have much of a 401k at all. I don't know. Yeah.
Right, on it, like plant a vegetable garden, because I'm not sure that money will matter if things get as bad as they could.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, the US dollar is in real trouble. I will say that. I think they really are trying to crash that thing. So
I really think they are too, and I think they're trying to end the dominance of the U.S. as global reserve currency, which Americans do not understand the prosperity that has brought us over the last 80 years. And if that ends, we are absolutely fucked.
Yeah, and if you think crypto is going to save us, you've been sold a bill of goods. So,
for sure.
Oh my God,
that's a con. And anyhow, that's where we're going. That's not fun. War, economic doom, and disaster is not fun. But you guys are a ton of fun. It's really great to be with you guys today.
Thanks so much for coming. It was great to have you here.
Do we want to end with our one last question to elevate the mood?
Oh my God, yeah. How could we not ask Zev our question?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Every time someone comes on for the first time, and we hope there will be a second time, Zev, because we got a lot more to talk about. We always ask them this question: what is the most Gen X song of all time?
Gen X song of all time.
Like if you're in a movie and someone's trying to establish that this is you're back in time and you're in the peak Gen X years, what song is playing in the background?
The song that comes to mind right away. Well, it's not really a song, but anything by Duran Duran.
Yes,
nice.
It would absolutely that's right there for me. I love Duran Duran.
Same.
Also, well, I'll stick with Duran Duran. I can't remember what song I was thinking. They have
excellent pick. Second day in a row, Leo Caldwell, our guest yesterday, picked "Hungry Like the Wolf."
Oh, nice. That's a perfect one. "Hungry Like the Wolf" is a perfect song.
That's a good. For me, it would be the Reflex. But yes,
the Reflex. Also, both great songs.
Absolutely.
The impact that "Hungry Like the Wolf" made on MTV and cinematography and on little tween girls.
I mean, Simon Le Bon
and little tween gay boys.
Yes. See, I'm more of a John Taylor girl, but yes, they were all so pretty. So pretty.
Yeah,
they were.
Simon Le Bon.
So nicely. Yeah, right. Simon Le Bon. I'm definitely the Simon Le Bon category there.
Yeah,
Simon the Good.
Yeah, Zev, we need to hang out. I'm coming to Toronto, and we're gonna go terrorize the local menfolk at some point.
Absolutely, I'll show you around. It's a very nice neighborhood we have here.
Nice.
Lots
I
of good
love the
things.
city. I've been to Toronto a bunch of times, and
Oh,
so yeah, I'm not kidding. I need to come back. It's a really great city. I love it.
Yeah, let me know when you're here, and we'll definitely show you around.
Awesome. Sounds great.
You too,
Zev
Dana.
Shalev,
This is
thank you
not
so
this
much
is not just for Lawrence here. You can come
I
visit too.
absolutely. I've never been to Toronto.
Oh,
And also my daughter and I just rewatched Anne with an E for the third time. So we really want to go to Prince Edward Island and go get like our Anne. I want to braid my hair and walk around and be like, we're kindred spirits, you know.
it's really nice over there. It's really
Yeah.
really lovely. Yeah,
Oh
you
my
should definitely do
gosh.
it. Canada's a good country.
And I'm a Tragically Hip fan, which like very few Americans know. So
They're great.
they were great.
They were great. Yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for being here. Lawrence, thank you for coming back.
Yes, Lawrence,
So good
thank
having
you.
you back on
I'm
the show. And
back.
Zev, this was wonderful.
Thanks so much
Even
for inviting me. I really had a
as it
good
is
time.
just
Thanks a lot, guys.
Awesome. Thanks
love you
everybody.
all.
Thanks,
Mean
Zev.
it.
Bye,
Love you. Mean it.
everybody. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Mwah. Mwah.
Bye.